I'm going to show you 3 unique, creative, and uncommon ways, fun ways, that you can use AI over the summer to help you get ready for the next school year. Let's get started. The first thing we're going to look at is called a future classroom museum. Basically, it's a set of items or a set of artifacts that you have at the end of the school year to demonstrate how successful you were as a teacher during the school year. Here is our first prompt here. And what you're going to do is simply drop in your grade, your subject, or the topic that you are going to be teaching. So here, if you notice, the date says May 2027. So this is the end of the next school year. You've had one of your best teaching years ever. And what you want the AI to do is to help prepare a set of fictional artifacts from the successful year. So basically, you're looking all the way to the end of the year and saying, what do I have that shows how wonderful my classroom was during the year? And then for each of those artifacts, what does it say about your classroom routines and student learning and instruction and communication? So we take this and we turn it over to AI for some examples of what those artifacts might be. So here I've got my prompt in place, and now I've got my artifacts. So for example, number 1 is the first week reader identity map. What it's going to show me for each of these is, what does it look like? So basically at the end of the year, what do you see when you look at it? And then it follows up with, what does this artifact say about you? And it's going to go through each of them. So artifact 2, a marked up short story with 3 colors of thinking, what it looks like, and what does it say about you. So that is number 1. But we're going to follow up because, as you noticed, we asked for a bunch of them, 8 of them. And maybe all 8 really don't appeal to you. Maybe they're not something you're going to put in place, or they don't seem appropriate for your classroom. So you review them and you choose 1 or more to examine more thoroughly. So for my follow-up, I said artifact number 4. And now we're looking at backwards planning. If we're going to have number 4 at the end of the year, what routines, planning, instructional decisions, etc., do you need to put in place during the first month of school? So when you go back to school, what should you actually do to end up with that artifact by the end of the school year? Now, I take this and I drop it into my AI. Okay, I've dropped in my follow-up prompt here into ChatGPT, and what is it going to give me? First month, we're establishing a core belief, which is this, and then it's telling me what is my first month goal. By the end of the first month, what should be accomplished? And then we have an actual routines to establish. So weekly routines and color coding routines and so forth like that. It's going to give me all the things that I need to do so that at the end of the year, I've got this particular artifact showing how wonderful my classroom was. Now, if I look a little further down, here are my actual moves. During month 1, what do I specifically need to do? And it's going to give me some very complete information and instructions for that particular artifact. And then I'll continue with additional ones after that. So that is number 1. For number 2, the number 2 strategy that you can use AI for over the summer, what if scenarios. You know, not everything is exactly perfect all the time, because teachers are humans and students are humans, and we are live in a human world, so sometimes things happen. So what we want to do is think ahead of time with what if scenarios. What we're going to ask the AI to do is to create 20 what would I do if scenario cards. And again, you put in your grade and the subject or the topic that you're teaching. What do we want? We want scenarios about student misunderstanding, group work, unfinished assignments, AI misuse, parents, grading dilemmas, and classroom routines. Now you can add or subtract any based on your own experience, but this is actually going to give you a pretty nice set. Now, one fun thing you might do with this, you're sitting around in the middle of the summer with fellow teachers, pull one out. Discussion cards, right? So not just something you think through by yourself, but something you can think through with your colleagues. All right, so we'll take this, turn it over to AI, and see what we get. All right, I dropped in my prompt. Here are my what if scenario cards. And what it's going to give me is, first, the topic. Here, the claim is just a summary. Then, here is my what would I do if statement. If several students write claims that summarize, etc., etc., etc. And here are things to think about as you consider what you would do in this particular case. And it's going to go through a lot from which you can pick and choose and say, you know what, I've seen this one before. This has actually happened in my classroom. What would I do next year if it happens again? So that is strategy number 2 for getting AI to help you prepare for the next school year. Now let's look at the third one. The third use of AI over the summer is what we call generating an idea scrapbook, which is basically I need lots of new ideas that I can put in place in my classroom next year. I need some brainstorming assistance, basically. And here we're going to ask the AI for 50 small ideas, not big, complicated things, but here is something to do, a very specific thing. I need 50 of them. Now, how do we want them organized? Because that's a lot, right? So, organized by instructional purpose, right? Categorize them by what they are used for. They should be realistic, require very little preparation, and of course, they need to be usable. Then, take this 50 and categorize them by high impact, medium impact, and low impact, based on the amount of influence they may have over student learning and classroom climate. So high impact strategies first and different instructional purposes. Medium and low are the same. We take this, we turn it over to AI, and we really get some great ideas. So let's see what AI gave us. So idea scrapbook for this content, your content here. And then the first thing we're going to look at is building strong routines. The 5-minute reset, one sentence that matters, and it's going to go through quite a few ideas all related to that first purpose, building strong reading routines. And it's going to do the same thing as I zip down here as purpose number 2. Quick actions, quick ideas about strengthening literary analysis, because that applies to the topic that we've got here. And it's going to go through 50 of them like that. So let me just zip on down, risking motion sickness, I'm sure. And here we go. Ideas to prioritize first. Of that set, those items with the highest return and lowest prep are these here for consideration. Now, as always, if some of these look particularly interesting to you, like, oh, that's something that I want to do, you can always follow up and say, give me more information about this particular idea. How do I implement it? What does it look like? What is the likely effect that it's going to have on my classroom and my student learning? So there you go. 3 interesting ways to use AI over the summer to help you get ready for a successful next year. I hope you found this useful. Take care.